Across history, pandemics have stalked humanity, reshaping civilizations and leaving scars that echo through time. Today, we count down the top 5 deadliest pandemics, events that claimed millions and altered the course of human development. Join us as we explore these tragedies, including the pandemic of our own era, whose impact may surprise you. Our chronicle begins in the 6th century at the height of the Byzantine Empire under Emperor Justinian I. Constantinople. A thriving hub of trade and culture was blindsided by an invisible enemy, Yersinia pestis, the bacterium behind the plague of Justinian. Arriving in 541 AD via grain ships from Egypt, the plague unleashed terror, fever chills, swollen lymph nodes, delirium and death. Within days, Procopius, a contemporary historian, described a city overwhelmed. Thousands died daily, bodies piled in the streets and funeral rites abandoned. The empire's economy and administration collapsed as fields went untended, trade halted, and officials perished. Even Emperor Justinian fell ill, barely surviving while his ambitions for imperial restoration crumbled. The plague radiated outward, devastating Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Estimates suggest 25 to 50 million deaths over 2 centuries, up to 40% of Constantinople's population and a quarter of the eastern Mediterranean. The pandemic weakened the Byzantine Empire, hastened the decline of classical urban life, and triggered labor shortages that altered economic structures. It was a grim precursor to later outbreaks, like the Black Death, and a stark lesson in how interconnectedness can spread catastrophe. The plague of Justinian remains a chilling reminder of how even the mightiest societies can be brought to their knees by the unseen world of microbes. Its legacy a warning that prosperity and connection can also be pathways for devastation. Fast forward to the late 20th century when a new pandemic emerged, HIV/AIDS. First identified in the early 1980s, HIV quietly spread, devastating communities and baffling doctors as young, healthy people succumbed to rare infections and cancers. Stigma and misinformation fueled discrimination, delaying effective public health responses. Scientists discovered HIV, a retrovirus that destroys the immune system, leaving victims vulnerable to deadly diseases. Transmission occurred through blood, sexual contact, and from mother to child, with global travel accelerating its spread, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. The early years were marked by fear, ostracism, and loss. An HIV diagnosis was a death sentence. Activism, led by groups like ACE UP, forced governments and pharmaceutical companies to act, accelerating research and access to treatments. The breakthrough came in the mid-1990s with antiretroviral therapy, transforming HIV from fatal to manageable for those with access. Yet over 40 million have died, and 39 million still live with HIV today. Stigma and inequality persist, and the search for a cure continues. The HIV/AIDS pandemic is a story of tragedy, resilience, and the ongoing fight for health equity. It reminds us that even in an age of science, humanity remains vulnerable, and that compassion and solidarity are essential in confronting global threats. In 1918, as World War I ended, a new enemy emerged: the Spanish flu. Despite its name, the pandemic's origins remain debated, but its impact was clear: swift, global, and deadly. Wartime troop movements and crowded conditions fueled the spread of this H1N1 influenza virus. Within months it reached every continent, sparing no community. Unusually, it struck healthy young adults hardest, likely due to overactive immune responses. Symptoms escalated rapidly: fever, aches, pneumonia, and cyanosis, often leading to death within days. Healthcare systems collapsed under the strain. Makeshift hospitals sprang up, but treatments were limited to supportive care. Public health measures, masks, quarantines, closures, were implemented, but inconsistently and often met with resistance. The pandemic came in 3 waves, with the second being the deadliest. Estimates of the death toll range from 50 to 100 million, more than the war itself. About a third of the world's population was infected. The Spanish flu left deep psychological and economic scars, spurred research into virology, and shaped future public health responses. Its legacy, a stark warning of influenza's potential and the need for vigilance against emerging pathogens. The Black Death of the mid-14th century stands as one of history's most devastating pandemics. Arriving in Europe in 1347 via trade routes from Central Asia, Yersinia pestis spread rapidly, killing with terrifying speed. The disease appeared in bubonic, pneumonic, and septicemic forms, each more deadly than the last. Symptoms included fever, pain, and darkened skin. Death often followed within days. Society broke down. Families abandoned the sick, mass graves filled cities, and fear reigned. Up to 60% of Europe's population perished, some regions lost 80%. The labor shortage shifted economic power, undermined feudalism, and changed land ownership. Religious fervor and scapegoating surged, leading to persecution and violence. The Black Death's impact was not just demographic but cultural, inspiring art and literature obsessed with mortality. Its waves continued for centuries, but the initial shock transformed Europe, accelerating the transition to the modern era. The Black Death is a stark example of how disease can reshape civilization, leaving a legacy that endures in memory and society. Our own era's pandemic, COVID-19, has reshaped the world in real time. Emerging in late 2019 in Wuhan, China, the novel coronavirus spread rapidly, declared a pandemic by March 2020. Its high transmissibility and asymptomatic spread made containment nearly impossible. Lockdowns, travel bans, and social distancing became global norms as healthcare systems struggled to cope. The economic fallout was immediate. Businesses closed, jobs vanished, and inequalities deepened. Scientists raced to develop vaccines, achieving breakthroughs in record time. Yet new variants and uneven vaccine access complicated the fight. Over 7 million lives have been lost, with the true toll likely higher. Long COVID and mental health impacts continue to unfold. The pandemic exposed vulnerabilities in global health systems and highlighted the importance of preparedness, equity, and reliable information. COVID-19's story is still being written, but its lessons are already shaping our future. From Justinian's plague to COVID-19, pandemics reveal both our fragility and resilience. Each crisis has driven innovation, changed societies, and taught hard-won lessons. Which pandemic story resonated with you most? Share your thoughts below. If you value these lessons from history, subscribe and join us for more explorations. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay curious.